All right, so we're thrilled to welcome back our buddy, Andrew Stewart, the bloodstock manager of Arion Pedigrees. Andrew, welcome back to the show, my friend.
Thank you very much. It's great to be back again. Good to see you guys.
Yeah, it's always a blast to see you, and thank you. What, John?
I said, welcome back. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your role.
Seriously, bro. Like, you need a new co-host. So we brought you on. So we brought Andrew on last week to preview the Hong Kong international races. It was a really exciting card, and the headliner was the third Cup victory for Romantic Warrior. You know, Andrew, you pay closer attention to this stuff. Like, how unprecedented is it for a horse to keep doing this on this big of a stage?
Yeah, it's pretty much out there, as you say. A three-time winner. I think he's won 17 from 22, and he's proven himself. He's gone to Japan. He's won a Group 1 over a mile, and he's just. I mean, as you probably saw, he was just. It was an imperious victory. He was so dominant, and they've got big plans for him in the new year, which is great. You know, they're going to try him on the dirt. I think we've heard that before somewhere, haven't we? But they're looking to go to firstly to Dubai and either run them in a grade 2 on the dirt or the turf, and then off to Saudi for the Saudi Cup. So I'm not going to make any bold predictions that he'll handle the dirt, but I think he'll make the race interesting anyway.
Yeah.
Yep. And Andrew, when you walk away from a meet like that, from just a tremendous racing week, obviously there was so much handle that was changing hands in the races and stuff like that. Is there anything that other racing venues can adopt from that week of racing?
I mean, Hong Kong's fairly unique in that, that they've got no breeding industry. They only buy the best. I mean, horses have got to pass extremely stringent veterinary examinations to even be imported there. So the quality of racing in their top levels, in their class, in their black type racing, their class 1, class 2, class 3 racing is extremely, it's extremely fierce. So, and they love to bet. I mean, I don't think there's a lot of other betting options in Hong Kong. So they only race twice a week. They race Wednesday night at Happy Valley, which is right in the middle of Hong Kong. And then in the weekends in Sha Tin, They draw huge crowds. They've really promoted the industry to younger people, and they've really worked hard on that. And it's been proved successful. They've got a very stringent ownership model. So as I said, it's difficult to get a license to race there. And so I think the exclusivity of the whole place really makes these big meetings a real occasion.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And that's something I wanted to ask you about. In Australia, the Melbourne Cup is that kind of deal where, it's the race that the whole country stops for. How would you compare the atmosphere in Australia and New Zealand, some of the big race meets that you've been to something like Hong Kong? Obviously, this is its own individual meet that is very prestigious, but is that something that's kind of a little more consistent on that side of the world than over here?
Yeah, I think so. Melbourne Cup, the Melbourne Cup Carnival is a 4-day meeting over a week, but Cup Day is on Tuesday. It's a public holiday in Australia, basically. They draw 100,000 people on course. The catch phrase is the race that stops a nation. And it does that.
Right.
They've recently introduced a new race, the Everest, which is a $20 million 6 furlong race, and which is run in Sydney, and they've turned that into a real event as well. And they're selling out the course weeks beforehand. I think the course holds 40,000 or something like that. They wow. I think the stats they've done, the crowd are sort of under 35. The greater percentage of the crowd are under 35s that they're drawing to these big events, and they've turned it into a real event. They sing a song as the horses leave the mounting yard. The whole crowd, they've got their own song. It's a Neil Diamond song, and it's a real thing. So
wow.
So yeah, I think industries or clubs within the industry are getting really quite smart about about how they promote these big days. We've got a big meeting here in New Zealand, which is based around the yearling sales in January, and it's called the Karaka Million meeting, held at Ellerslie, which is our main course in New Zealand and Auckland. And they've turned that into a huge event as well. And, they've got the crowd regularly sing songs about their favourite jockey. And it's a really big thing. And, I sort of felt the same thing at Saratoga. I went on Whitney Day and I was sort of really impressed with the size of the crowd and the atmosphere there. But I guess it's hard to promote when you've got 40 days of racing. Unless you've got sort of everything tied up into 1 or 2 big days.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. No, exactly. Joe, you'll remember, at MSG when the Rangers are playing, they have songs that they have to sing also, like dun 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 dun.
Pot Vin sucks.
There you go. There's my man. Yeah, there's all the words to all the right songs. We have those cheers too, Andrew. Andrew, just my last question to you is: who else impressed you in that entire meet, as far as horses for maybe our fans to watch out for, or just there was a horse that had an extraordinary day, and you were impressed with the way that he or she ran.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about Romantic Warrior. I think the other 1 to 10 winner. Kaying Rising in the sprint was probably not as impressive as everyone was expecting, but I think he didn't have things go his own way. And for a horse that's only had 10 starts, I think he handled the occasion really well. They've got huge plans for him as well. They're looking at running in the Everest next year, and he's the type of horse which, I mean, I can imagine the betting. And the interest in Hong Kong if he travels to Australia and races in the Everest, because I've just explained what how much of a huge event it is in Australia, and I think he would certainly add to the occasion. Just as an aside, I remember, Joe, a few weeks ago you were after the Breeders' Cup, you were discussing about the horses that had come from Japan and Great Britain, and wouldn't it be great to see some from the Southern Hemisphere? But sort of October, November, like there's 24 Group 1 races run in Australia, and from 6 furlongs to 2 miles, and all on turf. So and those that miss that carnival seem to end up in Hong Kong. So it would be lovely. I mean, to have a true championship series, but it's just, I think it's programming wise, it's probably too difficult. But yeah, I mean, Kaying Rising, I thought was very good. The Mile Winner Voyage Bubble, a local, it was his first Group 1, and he'd been a sort of on that level for quite a while without managing to win one, and the Irish horse, or the Irish bred Britain chained horse, won the Vase really well.
Great ride by Oisin Murphy too.
Oh, it was.
It
was a super ride. Yeah,
Andrew, thank you for man. Yeah, thank you for coming on, Andrew. Let's do this again, like maybe for the Saudi Cup or the Dubai World Cup. We're going to need your insights. It definitely helped over the weekend. And by the way, like if you're looking at sales for 2025, or you're looking to make a Derby future wager, you want to know who's going to stretch out, look at some pedigrees, Arion.co.nz, Arion.co.nz. Check out that pedigree database. You guys do an unbelievable job. Thanks for coming up, brother.
Wonderful. Great to see you again, guys.